It's the end of March here at Air2Ground Farms, and what that means is it's lambing season.
And so you find yourself with a lamb in your house.
Why? Because sometimes lambs and moms don't necessarily bond very well, and that was the case with this little guy. His sister did fine, but even though we tried out in the field to get them to bond, it didn't work out for him. I saw him kind of struggling, so I had to make a decision, and we have to do that as farmers sometimes, especially with livestock. We have to make a decision on what to do with them. So I decided to pull him in and turn him into what we call a bottle baby. This is what happens during lambing season when moms aren't good. Okay, so I was doing all the things that I do with bottle babies, and it occurred to me, hey, let's put this on the channel for someone who may also be lambing. Maybe you've got a couple of ewes at your homestead or your farm, and it's lambing season, and now you've got one in the house, and well, now what do? We've got this lamb in the house. We need to get it something to eat, and they're gonna make a mess, and how can we avoid that? So, what I use, simple tools. We use these nipples that are for lambs. I don't know exactly what they're called. Lamb nipples, I think, is really what we're going to call them. You can find them at your probably feed store. That's where we get these. You can also get them off of the internet. They fit really nicely onto just a regular water bottle. They screw right onto just your standard water bottle, and that way you're not spending a bunch of money for bottles and such. The feed that we have found that works the best is
Whole cow's milk. For us, luckily, we have jerseys on our farm, and we feed the lambs raw, full cream Jersey milk.
Another thing that we have in plenty supply of right now is the colostrum that they so desperately have to have even in order to survive at all. So cow colostrum, if you have your own milk cow, saving the colostrum, putting it in the freezer in case you need it for your lambs, it's liquid gold on a farm. So we were able to give him the colostrum that he needed, and he's doing great. So if you don't have raw milk, whole milk, we have found that whole milk from the store, it works really good and much better than the replacement that you have to mix up.
Yeah, the lamb replacement powder, it's really difficult to find the exact right percentages to use. And what we found is that we never could really get it right. If you use too much of the powder, which if you follow their directions for the lamb milk replacement powder, if you follow the directions, it ends up being way too rich, and in the end, they end up dying. And if it's not enough powder, then they don't get the nutrition that they need, and they end up dying. So what we found with the powder was it was just really difficult to get it mixed up exactly right. Mm-hmm. But even just whole milk from the grocery store worked out just fine.
So what I just did while I was talking was poured up 4 ounces. That's what he's up to now. I poured him 4 ounces into one of my glass measuring cups. And then kind of like a double boiler, or the way you would heat up a baby bottle, put it into some hot water and let it sit there and come up to temperature. You're going to want it to be right around 100 degrees, 102 degrees, not too hot, but not cold. Because if they drink it cold when they're small, it's going to bring their body temperature down really quickly, and it's going to make them cold. And the last thing that these little guys need is to expend any extra energy trying to keep themselves warm. So
that changes after a couple of weeks, and after a couple of weeks, you can actually use buckets and put nipples on buckets, and the way that you limit the amount and how quickly they eat it is to feed it to them cold.
Right.
So there are times when you can use cold milk, but as a newborn, that is not the time.
No, he's just a couple of days old, and right now we're warming it up. So it's sitting here getting warm. While it's sitting here getting warm, before we feed him, I wanted to go over how you keep the mess from happening around your house, and it's with baby diapers. All right, let's see if we can get him to stand here. I'm going to take these off, and we're just start over. Okay, well, he may not stand.
He may not.
He's not going to perform for us. Whoa, bro. Okay, let me have this one. Okay, off you go.
There we go.
Okay,
There we go.
let me throw it away.
Okay. Okay, you're okay.
We just wasted 2 relatively good diapers for this video, but that's okay. Okay, with this being a ram lamb, you either need to get a diaper big enough, like maybe a size 5, and go get the cheapest diapers you can find. And if you don't have them big enough, what I started doing was wrapping them around his belly, like this. So, because his urine comes out kind of in the middle of his stomach, and then just take the little tabs, wrap it around his belly, and it does a great job at catching. Okay, I know. You're doing fine. At catching the pee right in there. Now, the rear end, we want to catch that too. And the way we do it here is take your diaper, and on the side where you have your the front, yep, on the front, thank you. Mm-hmm. You're going to cut a hole somewhere about midway on the front for his tail. And this is all just to make it easier for the mama, which you become. We just did a podcast. That's why we're wearing these clothes. And
check it out on the Dust Your Mud podcast
on the Dust Your Mud podcast channel, because this little lamb was on the podcast, because if I didn't do that, he was going to yell the whole time. Okay, we're going to put his tail through there, kind of like a ponytail. There we go. And then wrap it underneath. He doesn't like it, but I don't care, because I don't want this in my house. And it works great. It's soft. There's no reason for him to not like it, other than he's an animal and he belongs outside. All right. And let's talk about why he's inside. He's inside because right now he's by himself. And little lambs do not do well when they're bottle babies. They don't do well when they're alone. So we have dogs, and the dogs help us.
If we had another bottle baby, we could keep the 2 bottle babies outside together.
And we do that.
That would be okay.
Right.
We did that last year.
Yep.
But this year we only have 1. And so he can't stay outside by himself. They would die.
Now he is going to, did you mention he is going to go, he's going to his new home this afternoon. We've rehomed him to another farm who was looking for a bottle baby, and they're going to take him and raise him. And I'm very confident that he will just be fine and wonderful.
Oh, yes.
Okay, this, I believe, is probably warm now. Yep, it's warm. Okay, so super simple. Let's pour it into our oversized water bottle. You want to know why? Because this is what we had. All right. Because I like smart water. That's why.
I think he's excited about
He's
this.
very excited. He knows what's about to happen. All right. Now, training him. Let's go over here to the carpet, and I will show you how I train him to eat from a bottle, even from day 1.
Well, there are some things that are very important, like the position of his neck and head.
Yep.
So what it seems like you would want to do is hold it up here so that he's looking up at you. That is the wrong position. Their neck has to be in this crooked position that opens everything up and causes it to go into the right place inside their belly. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have it just right, it ends up going into the wrong place. So what you'll see Shell do is both teaching him how to drink from a bottle and putting his neck in the right position so that it goes into the right place.
Okay, maybe we could just do it right here.
Sure, we could try.
Actually, let's just go over here.
Okay.
Okay. One of the things that I do, kind of like Pavlov's theory, you got to call him somehow. Now, he's very aware of what's going on and what's about to happen. But what I do is when I first start teaching them so that they'll come and I don't have to chase them down, is just shake that bottle. And he'll hear that from the other side of the room and come running. And I'm on the carpet here because his feet, his hooves are so slippery on our floor that he can't get a grip to really eat good. So we come over here to the carpet by the back door, and that allows him to be able to hold on. Okay, here we go. And he thinks that the food is at my knees. Now, to teach them how, what you want to do is really cover their face, because whenever they're eating under their mom, they're really underneath her leg and her udders, and it's right in their face. So if I cover their eyes and their face, then they kind of think that's what's happening. So I get him close to my leg, push down like this just a little bit, and he goes to looking. And then I can just stick that in there. Whoop, okay, he's all trained now. All right, and it's all over my feet. And you can see how I'm pushing. Oh, we're making a mess here. Now, another thing that I do is you want to make sure that you kind of make them take a break, okay? So if I just let him go, he'll just suck this all down real fast. But we don't want him to do that because his little digestive system needs just a chance to take a break. And you'll see that out in the field. You'll see the mamas. They'll kick them off.
Yeah.
They'll kick them off and walk away because they know instinctively that's enough. And then the babies will just come back and get more. And then they'll come back and get more, little bits at a time, because that's what their little bitty systems can handle. So when you're feeding them at home, make them take a break.
And you can see how he's basically bending down and looking up. And that crick in his neck is what you need to happen. So you need him that, his legs sorted down, his nose up in the air. That is the correct position to make sure that the milk goes to the right place in their belly.
Come over here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, okay. I can't squat like I normally do because my knee. Whoop, we're all done. One of the things that you can do whenever you're first teaching them how, if they don't know what they're doing, is you can get down on one knee and kind of put them underneath your other leg. If you stick their head under here, I'd squat if I could, but I can't. You put them right underneath here, and this bottle comes in from this side, and then you can teach them as if they were underneath their mom. And you can really kind of hug them too. So that is another way to teach them how to eat. He was so hungry when he came inside, he didn't care at all. And he's all done. So if you have a bottle baby, if you've decided to buy a bottle baby, those are just a couple of tips: how to feed them, how to hold their head and neck so that they get the proper channel going in their throat, and how to put a diaper on a male. Now, I didn't cover the females. If you have a little ewe, just put the diaper on just like I did on the rear end, and it works great because all their business is all in the same spot, right, and it catches it really nicely. One more tip: if the diaper won't stay on, get you a pair of old pantyhose or go buy some stockings and the nylon stockings and cut holes in them and put that on him, and that will hold, kind of like where you still have the
cut holes for each leg and the tail.
Right.
And then just and
make
put
him
it
a pair of
over the
pants.
top of both of the diapers.
And that will hold them on. And I had to do that when we had another when she got a little bit bigger and she would start kicking it off. And chewing cud. And I just got a pair of stockings, cut 3 holes in it, and those were kind of her overpants to her. And yeah, Sheepster, she's still here. She's the black one if you've ever seen us out there calling the sheep, and she's Sheepster. Hi, big girl, come on. Good girl. This is Sheepster. Hi, Sheepster. Yeah. And we had her in the house just like this. And if it's required and we have lambs that aren't doing well or moms that aren't doing great with them or something's wrong, right now we just have him and he's going somewhere else, but it's lambing season. And if I have to, I'll pull more in here and we'll do this until we're done. But hopefully not too many. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Hope this helped. See you next time. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.